everyone, today we're making another rustic sourdough loaf. Today we're going to make an olive cheese loaf. And to start off with, I got my starter in here. You can see our Himalayan salt and just a little bit of the sugar in there. Not a whole lot, just enough to kind of, I'll just add a few more sugars to the process and kind of, take a little bit of that sourdough flavor out of it. So, got that mixed in. We're going to now add some water to it and loosen everything up. So this is going to make everything nice and even. So the sugar and the salt content that I just put in there will be nice and even throughout. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to add our nice whole wheat flour. Alright, this is going to be a no-knead bread. So since it's going to be a no-knead bread, we're going to need to make this as simple and as easy as it can be. Alright, looking at this, we're obviously quite a bit too dry. So let's add a little bit more water to it. And start finding that perfect balance that we're always looking for. This is a no-knead, so we're not going to worry about trying to make this perfect right off the bat. Nope, don't worry about it. This is simple. This is lactobacilli. We're just letting the fungus naturally do its own thing and saving yourself a lot of the hassle that goes into it. And we're now going to get all down and dirty with it. We're going to go ahead, hop in there. So we got the nice gloves on today, because the only way to really know how your bread's doing is to go ahead and hop in there with your hands. Feel it. See how we're looking. Just right off the bat, feels a little loose. See how I can just go through it quite easily. A little bit looser than I'd like. Yeah, just a hair looser than I like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead. Oop, that seems just about perfect. Yeah, that's actually great. You can see just a little splash of dry flour on the bottom, which is great, meaning that I've incorporated it all. So today we're looking at an olive loaf. One of my absolute favorites. That's why I'm showing it to you. So what I'm going to do, since this is a no-knead bread and I'm not going to worry about spending all this time working everything together, I'm going to just kind of split it off here into a few parts. And that's going to make everything nice and split up for our olives. Alright, so got the olives. All I'm going to do here is quite simple. Just push them in. I'm going to add a little bit of cheese to it. And then cover it. So let's go ahead, since I have this here, we can look at the bread. We can see that it's been well moisturized. It's got a good elasticity, good stretchiness to it. So you can tell that's a well hydrated, good set of dough right there. All it really needs to do is sit for a while, and then that will help it go ahead and leaven and let all those glutens in it become active. So awesome. So I'm going to cover that layer And do the same thing again. More olives, more cheese. Then, alright, the reason why I'm layering this like a lasagna is because if I start working all this in there, the olives are going to break apart and the cheese is going to really incorporate itself in there. That's not really what I'm looking for. This is a no knead, so I'm doing this quite simply. And what I really want is for everything to be in place so that oh gosh, you have to let this sit for bare minimum 6 hours. Bare minimum 6 hours. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let this thing sit overnight. Oh, this is going to be a really big loaf. I'm going to let this thing sit for probably 18, maybe even a little over 18 hours. And that's what we're looking at right there. You can see not much away of bubbles. We can tell that not a lot's going on, but like I said, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna let this sit for about, and after you leave it out overnight, you're gonna get something looking like that. Lots of big bubbles, letting you know that it is ready to go. Super active. Don't have to worry about kneading it, hence the name, the no knead bread. Alright, now we're just needing to get this out of our little vessel here. Then all we have to do after that is just shape it, let it rest for a little bit. You can hear in the background the ticking of the oven as it preheats our Dutch oven. Nice little cast iron. Let's see. Looks like I got it all perfect. So you can see we got all the olives and the cheese in there. Now all I'm doing is just working it into my hands. You'll see I pull it back to build surface tension on the top. You can see all the nice olives in there, all the cheese poking out. But this is all the kneading that's going to be required. So once I feel good about the shape, I'm actually going to go on the other side now. Trying to be really mindful of all the olives and not trying to overwork it or break it at all. I'm just being real mindful of that. So, looks like, there we go. I'm happy with that. Looks like we lost an olive, but that's perfectly fine. Let's see. Yeah, that works. That's a good one right there. Alright, so we got good surface tension there. And I'm going to determine that this right here, this will be our top on it. So with that being the top, we're going to want to put that face down in our bowl. Because when we, as you'll see in just a second, and there we put it into the Dutch oven, flip it around to make it easy on ourselves. Well, alright, it's been right about 30 minutes since I let this sit. Let you know that our Dutch oven is super hot. Perfect. So, I'm just gonna make sure this is moving on me. Probably could have used a little bit more flour in there, but it's moving, so that works. Alright. I put the flour in advance, so I don't have to do that right now. And then all we need to do, make the magic happen, slowly take it down and out. Oh yeah. Then we put it in there. Oh, this is a big loaf. Barely fits in there, but that works. Great. Put the lid back on, and I'm gonna cook it in the oven for at least 30-35 minutes. This is a little bit of a bigger loaf, so it'll be probably about 35 minutes with the lid on. Then we'll take the lid off, cook it till it's done, probably another 20-30 minutes. Well, alright, it's been about 35 minutes. Let's take our first peek at it. Oh, it is way too big. Alright, it just barely fits in there. But that is what we're looking at. Beautiful. Alright, let's put it back in. It's been cooling enough. Our cheesy olive rustic bread it's cooled off enough that I can go ahead start chopping into it so we can check it out and see how it all turned out. Alright, first cut is away, and look at that. You can see we got good aeration in there. We know we had a good water to flour mixture. You can see some of the cheese still holding in their little whiteness, a little cheddar in there. Awesome. Looks great. Let's get another slice a little bit deeper. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Now this one we got a few of our nice green olives in there. You can still see the whole time. Got good aeration all throughout the whole thing. No real separation. Cheese, olives all throughout. Looks great. I'll go ahead, take some additional close-up pictures for you guys, but that's what we're looking at. Looks great. Enjoy.